Hi, my name is Juliana and I'm a coffee producer from Costa Rica. My dad started a company called Down to Earth when I was 1, and I've been watching the whole process from the producing side. So I'm very interested to be here in LA trying to figure it out what the other side is all about. I took over Down to Earth last year when my dad passed away, so I'm kind of trying to continue his legacy in the best way I can by putting everything that I learned into perspective. Today we're gonna go meet Jon, who is an LA Times reporter, and he is very proud of his city. So I'm very excited to see LA through his eyes and see what it has to offer. So what's your favorite thing about LA?
That's a really good question. I mean, there's so much. Los Angeles is a really big metropolis. I mean, it's about 150 square miles, and there's like a million different cities within the cities. There's a ton of places to go. And what I love about LA specifically is how multicultural it is. There's such a vibrant community of creative people. And then once you get out of like the central core of LA, like the San Fernando Valley or the South Bay, there's just so much to experience and to see. The good way to get to know the city is drive down those streets and see what there is to offer. You'll see such a vast variety of restaurants and people and cultures, and that's what makes it so interesting, that outside of the superficial nature of like the Hollywood sign or the entertainment industry, there's just so much the city has to offer.
Okay, so give me a little bit of context.
We're in a pretty famous LA neighborhood called West Hollywood. We're heading over to a coffee place called Go Get 'em Tiger, which is part of a small, like, local LA chainlet. It's a very LA spot. If you've never had like homemade macadamia nut milk, this is the place where you can go.
Okay, so I'm very interested in your story.
I originally grew up in New York, and my parents moved us out here when I was a kid. So when back in the early '80s, it was just a really great experience, kind of coming to California. So I grew up in LA in the San Fernando Valley. I'm an entrepreneur, so I've been working in and around technology, around media and automotive, and then I'm spending a lot of time working on a climate change solution. So I'm spending most of my time kind of figuring out how to make the world a better place. I've got 2 little kids, so I'm trying to kind of do good for them. I have a lovely wife, I'm trying to do good for her. Whenever I look for coffee or look for anything, I try to make sure that it's ecologically sound and has a small carbon footprint.
So what did we get?
We ordered the most LA thing on the menu. It's
Okay.
an iced macadamia nut almond milk latte. And the reason we got these is that they make their own macadamia nut almond milk in-house, and iced because it's LA and it's always hot. And then we got a cortado because I want you to tell me how the espresso is and how it tastes and that kind of stuff like that.
It's good. It's very different to what I'm used to. Because in Costa Rica, I normally drink my coffee just with milk. The whole flavored coffee has never been my thing before, but it's good. I like it.
So for me, would I get one every day? Probably not, but I figured if you're visiting in LA, we should probably get something very LA.
The most LA thing on the
Yeah,
menu. No,
yeah.
it's nice. I like it. It's
Yeah,
very
awesome.
different.
Yeah. But with the cortado, I think,
I'm excited. The cortado is my favorite coffee drink.
yeah, you can tell me. What do you think?
It smells good.
What should I know about coffee? I'm not a coffee expert, so like, what are you smelling?
The first thing that you have to do for the cup profile is smell it as strongly as you can. That will tell you a lot about the coffee, right? The variety, how roasted it is.
And why do you like the cortado? Is it because it's the blend of everything?
The best way to try a new coffee is, for me personally, by getting an espresso. And if you want to make it even better, a cortado. So you have a shot of espresso, same amount of steamed milk, right? You have the strength of the espresso that will give you the full cup profile so you can try it. You have the milk. If you have a good bean, a good quality bean, the milk will bring out little details that you cannot perceive without the milk.
That's really good.
It is good, right?
Yeah, that's good. It's got a nice profile.
Okay, so we got some beans, right? I'm excited to see it.
You can tell me all about coffee.
When you're buying coffee, so basically you should always get beans because it's gonna
Whole
be
beans.
fresher. Whole beans,
Okay.
yes. Because you wanna grind right before you consume it. That way it's fresh, right? Because when you're grinding, you're breaking the barrier of the bean and it starts to oxidize. So you want to have it as fresh as you can, right? Normally, we assume that bigger is better. You go to a supermarket, you get the bigger watermelon. You don't get the smallest you can find.
Right.
With beans, it's the opposite, right? The beans should be smaller. The smaller they are, the more dense and flavorful they are.
Okay.
And if you see big beans, because sometimes you go to a coffee shop and then you'll see huge oily beans, those are terrible.
Okay.
Because the highlands have smaller beans, right? It takes longer for the metabolism of the tree to ripen, so the beans are smaller and more dense, like this, right? They don't have to be the same size.
And that's a nice roast too. Like that's like a medium roast as opposed to like a super dark roast.
It's supposed to be dark, but I like it because the thing is that, as I told you, the lighter we roast, the better, because you can have more flavor and more aroma. I mean, some people like dark espresso because they enjoy the boldness.
Right.
But I think you can trade that with the preparation method. So you get lighter roast, but then you make it in an espresso machine. So you don't have to trade bold for flavor and aroma. You can have them both. These beans look very good. And the thing is that if you see, the surface has like ripples, like it has texture, it's not perfectly smooth, which again goes against everything we believe. We tend to think that smooth is perfection, perfect equals quality, but this is the opposite, right? So as you see, it has texture, which means that the beans is dense and it came from highlands.
Okay.
Right? So this is what you're looking for. I think the most important thing is to make coffee part of you. That's why I like how people are getting new machines, new method, making it at home makes it more personal, makes it more of a coffee ritual. People learn to appreciate the cup. When I drink coffee, I have a different type of coffee that I drink on Sundays. I call it my Sunday morning coffee. So I have a question for you. Now you're giving me the perspective for what the coffee scene is like in LA. If you could change something as a non-expert from your viewpoint, what would you change for the coffee industry?
I feel like there can be a bigger sense of inclusivity for people and make coffee a little more about everyone as opposed to these certain kind of groups. LA gets a bad rap for it being an authentic place, which totally true. But it's the same thing with friends as it is for wine or it is for coffee, is that once you find your place, things open up to you. And so I'm really looking forward to like finding like the next places that I go to.